What if the thing you were told to avoid your entire life is actually the key to unlocking faster fat burning and a lighter, more energized body? Most people cut salt completely when trying to lose weight, and that might be the exact reason they keep failing. This video is going to challenge everything you think you know about sodium, weight loss, and what your body actually needs to function at its best. In the next few minutes, you'll discover how a specific type of natural salt used in a very precise way can support your metabolism, reduce bloating, control cravings, and help you lose belly fat more efficiently than most expensive supplements on the market. This isn't a gimmick. There's real science behind why mineral balance matters for anyone serious about weight loss, fitness, and long-term health. Stay until the end, because you'll get the exact method, the ideal timing, and practical tips to stack this habit with your current routine for maximum results. Whether you're just starting your weight loss journey or you've been stuck at a plateau for months, what you're about to learn could be the simple, low-cost shift that finally makes the difference. There is a quiet revolution happening in the world of wellness, and it has nothing to do with the latest fad diet, overpriced supplement stack, or trendy fitness program promising you a six-pack in 30 days. It starts with something far more ancient, far more accessible, and far more powerful than most people give it credit for. It starts with a pinch of pink salt dissolved in a glass of warm water, consumed with intention every single morning before you eat or drink anything else, and before you roll your eyes and dismiss this as too simple to work. Consider this: the reason most weight loss efforts fail has nothing to do with willpower or calorie counting. It has everything to do with what is happening at the cellular level inside your body, specifically with your hydration, your mineral balance, and your metabolic efficiency. Fix those foundations, and everything else becomes easier. Himalayan pink salt is not regular table salt. That distinction matters enormously, and confusing the two has led millions of people to unnecessarily fear salt altogether. Table salt is a heavily processed product, stripped of its natural mineral content, bleached, and often loaded with anti-caking agents that have no place in a health-conscious lifestyle. Himalayan pink salt, on the other hand, is harvested from ancient seabeds that were preserved under layers of geological pressure for hundreds of millions of years. The result is a mineral-dense, unrefined crystal that contains over 80 trace minerals including magnesium, potassium, calcium, iron, and zinc that your body needs to run its most essential systems. These are not optional nutrients. They are the literal building blocks of metabolic function, nerve signaling, muscle contraction, and hormonal regulation. When your body is deficient in these minerals, it struggles to burn fat efficiently, struggles to regulate appetite, and struggles to produce the kind of sustained energy that makes consistent fitness possible. Let's talk about what happens when you wake up in the morning. After 6 to 9 hours of sleep, your body has gone without water or nutrition. Your cells are in a mild state of dehydration. Your cortisol levels, the stress hormone, naturally spike to help you wake up and get moving. Your digestive system is essentially on standby, waiting for a signal to activate. Most people respond to this state by immediately reaching for coffee, which further dehydrates the cells and spikes cortisol even more, creating a cascade of internal stress that the body interprets as an emergency. In that stress state, fat burning is not a priority. Survival is. The body holds on to stored energy, increases appetite signals, and primes itself for craving-driven eating. Sound familiar? This is not a willpower problem. This is a physiological response that millions of people experience every morning without realizing it. The pink salt drink changes that equation entirely. When you consume a small amount of high-quality Himalayan pink salt dissolved in warm water on an empty stomach, you are doing several things simultaneously that set your body up for fat burning, appetite control, and metabolic support. First, you are rehydrating at the cellular level, not just adding fluid volume to your system, but delivering electrolytes that allow your cells to actually absorb and use that water. This distinction between simple hydration and electrolyte hydration is one of the most overlooked concepts in weight loss and fitness. You can drink 2 liters of plain water a day and still be functionally dehydrated. At the cellular level, if your mineral balance is off, electrolytes are what make hydration work. Second, you're activating your digestive system in a gentle, natural way. The minerals in pink salt stimulate the production of digestive enzymes and prime the gut for more efficient nutrient absorption. When your digestion is functioning optimally, your body extracts more value from the food you eat, reduces the likelihood of bloating and sluggish bowel movements, and maintains a more stable blood sugar response throughout the day. Stable blood sugar means fewer cravings, fewer energy crashes, and a far more cooperative internal environment for fat burning. This is not a minor benefit. Poor digestion is one of the most common hidden obstacles in almost every weight loss journey, and addressing it first thing in the morning with this simple habit can produce noticeable changes in how you feel within just a few days. Third, and this is where it gets particularly interesting for anyone serious about eliminating abdominal fat, the pink salt drink has a direct relationship with cortisol and adrenal health. The adrenal glands, which sit on top of your kidneys, are responsible for producing cortisol and other stress-regulating hormones. When these glands are undernourished and chronically overstimulated, which is the reality for most modern adults juggling work, poor sleep, and constant digital stimulation, cortisol remains elevated throughout the day. Elevated cortisol directly signals the body to store fat, particularly in the abdominal region. This is why people under chronic stress often find it nearly impossible to lose belly fat regardless of how well they eat or how hard they train. The minerals in Himalayan pink salt, especially magnesium and potassium, are critical nutrients for adrenal recovery and cortisol regulation. Nourishing your adrenals first thing in the morning is not a luxury, it is a metabolic strategy. What makes this habit so compelling is not just its effectiveness, but its accessibility. There is no expensive protocol to follow, no complicated meal prep, no gym membership required to get started. 1/4 teaspoon of Himalayan pink salt, 8 to 12 ounces of warm filtered water, and a commitment to consistency. That is all it takes to begin shifting the internal conditions that determine how efficiently your body can lose weight healthily. The simplest habits are often the ones that create the most durable change, precisely because they remove every possible excuse not to start. One of the most persistent myths in the modern wellness space is that all salt is the enemy of a lean, healthy body. This belief has been repeated so often, in so many doctors' offices and diet books and fitness magazines, that it has become an unquestioned truth for millions of people trying to slim down and improve their health. But the truth is more nuanced, more interesting, and frankly more empowering than that oversimplified narrative. The problem was never salt itself. The problem was always the source, the quality, and the context in which salt was being consumed. Processed foods loaded with refined sodium, combined with a sedentary lifestyle and chronic dehydration, create the perfect storm for water retention, high blood pressure, and metabolic dysfunction. That is a real and valid concern. But conflating that reality with the idea that natural mineral-rich salt consumed in small, intentional amounts is harmful is a mistake that may be costing you real progress on your weight loss journey. When you begin to understand salt not as a threat but as a tool, specifically as a vehicle for delivering essential minerals that your body cannot produce on its own, your entire relationship with nutrition starts to shift. And that shift matters, because the mental and emotional dimension of how we approach food and health is just as important as the physical one. Mental health resources and wellness practitioners are increasingly recognizing that the way people think about food, the guilt, the fear, the restriction mindset plays a massive role in determining long-term outcomes. People who approach their health from a place of nourishment rather than punishment are significantly more likely to sustain healthy habits over time, and that is exactly the energy that the pink salt morning ritual embodies. It is not about cutting something out. It is about adding something deeply supportive to your body before the demands of the day even begin. Let us go deeper into the metabolic mechanics of why this matters so much for fat burning and weight management. Your metabolism is not a fixed number. It is a dynamic, responsive system that speeds up or slows down based on a complex web of signals: hormonal, neurological, nutritional, and environmental. One of the most powerful levers you have to influence your metabolic rate is your hydration status combined with your electrolyte balance. Research has consistently shown that even mild dehydration, as little as 1 to 2% of body weight in fluid loss, can reduce metabolic efficiency by measurable amounts. When your metabolism slows, your body burns fewer calories at rest, preserves fat stores more aggressively, and produces stronger hunger and craving signals. This is not a willpower failure. It is your biology doing exactly what it was designed to do in a state of perceived scarcity. The solution is not to drink more plain water and hope for the best. The solution is to ensure that the water you consume is actually being utilized at the cellular level, and that requires electrolytes. Potassium and magnesium in particular are deeply involved in the process of cellular hydration, meaning they help pull water into the cells where it can be used for energy production, waste removal, and metabolic regulation. Without adequate levels of these minerals, water passes through the system without being fully absorbed, leaving you simultaneously overhydrated in the bloodstream and underhydrated at the cellular level. This paradox is far more common than most people realize, and it explains why so many individuals who drink plenty of water still feel fatigued, still experience bloating, and still struggle to lose weight fast despite their best efforts. The pink salt drink addresses this directly by providing a small but meaningful dose of bioavailable trace minerals in a warm, easily absorbed liquid form. It creates the conditions for genuine cellular hydration first thing in the morning. Your cells wake up nourished. Your digestive system activates smoothly. Your blood sugar stabilizes before the first meal of the day, reducing the likelihood of insulin spikes that trigger fat storage. Your energy comes online more gradually and sustainably, without the sharp peak and crash that accompanies caffeine on an empty stomach. And your body, rather than entering the day in a stress and survival mode, enters it in a state of relative balance, which is precisely the state in which fat burning thrives. For people specifically focused on how to eliminate abdominal fat, this hormonal dimension cannot be overstated. Visceral fat, the deep abdominal fat that accumulates around the organs, is uniquely sensitive to cortisol, unlike subcutaneous fat, which sits just beneath the skin and responds more directly to caloric deficit and exercise. Visceral fat is primarily driven by stress hormones. This is why people can follow aggressive caloric restriction, maintain intense fitness routines, and still find that their belly fat refuses to budge. The body under chronic stress will protect that visceral fat almost regardless of what you eat or how hard you train. Because from an evolutionary standpoint, that fat is your emergency fuel reserve and cortisol is the signal that tells your body an emergency is ongoing. Lowering cortisol through mineral support, better sleep, reduced inflammation, and intentional morning rituals is not a soft wellness suggestion. It is a direct metabolic intervention aimed at one of the most stubborn obstacles in the fat-burning process. This is also where fitness and the pink salt habit intersect in ways that are particularly valuable for active individuals. If you exercise regularly, whether that means weight training, running, cycling, yoga, or any other form of physical activity, your electrolyte needs are significantly higher than those of a sedentary person. Sweat is not just water. It contains substantial amounts of sodium, potassium, and magnesium. When those minerals are not replaced adequately, muscle recovery slows, inflammation increases, sleep quality deteriorates, and the hormonal environment shifts in ways that actively resist fat loss and slimming. Starting the day with a mineral-rich hydration ritual gives your body a head start on recovery, supports better workout performance, and ensures that the physical effort you put into your fitness routine is not being undermined by a nutrient gap that is entirely correctable with a 2-minute morning habit. Everything we have covered so far, the mineral science, the cortisol connection, the metabolic mechanics of cellular hydration, points toward a single, unifying truth that the weight loss industry has largely ignored in favor of selling more complex, more expensive, and more dramatic solutions. The truth is this: your body already knows how to burn fat, regulate appetite, produce energy, and maintain a healthy weight. It was designed to do all of those things naturally and efficiently. What gets in the way is not a lack of discipline or a deficiency of the latest superfood supplement. What gets in the way is the gradual accumulation of small deficits in hydration, in mineral balance, in sleep quality, in stress management that quietly erode your body's ability to function the way it was built to function. The pink salt morning ritual is powerful not because it introduces something foreign or pharmaceutical into your system, but because it helps restore something fundamental that modern life has quietly stripped away. Think about the average morning in a modern household. The alarm goes off. Cortisol spikes. The phone comes out immediately. Stress begins before your feet even hit the floor. Coffee is consumed on an empty, dehydrated stomach. A rushed or skipped breakfast leaves blood sugar unstable. By mid-morning, cravings for sugar and processed carbohydrates are already in full swing. Energy is inconsistent, focus is scattered, and the internal chemistry of your body is already working against your weight loss tips and goals rather than in support of them. This is the default setting for millions of people. And it is a setting that makes sustainable fat burning, healthy meal plans, and consistent fitness feel like an uphill battle every single day. Not because those people lack commitment, but because their biological environment has not been set up to support success from the moment they wake up. Changing that environment does not require a complete lifestyle overhaul on day one. It requires a single strategic decision made at the very beginning of the day, before the noise and the demands and the distractions take over. That decision is to give your body what it needs first: minerals, hydration, and a moment of intentional calm before you give it caffeine, screens, stress, or food. This sequencing matters more than most people realize. The first input your body receives in the morning sets the hormonal and neurological tone for everything that follows. When that first input is a warm glass of mineral-rich water that hydrates your cells, activates your digestion, and nourishes your adrenal glands, the entire cascade of physiological events that follows is different, more balanced, more efficient, more conducive to fat burning, appetite regulation, and sustained energy throughout the day. For anyone who has struggled to lose weight fast and found themselves frustrated by slow or inconsistent progress, it is worth asking a serious question, not about what you are eating or how much you are exercising, but about what your internal environment actually looks like. First thing in the morning, are your cells hydrated? Are your electrolytes balanced? Is your cortisol being managed? Or is it chronically elevated in ways that are actively signaling your body to store and protect abdominal fat? Are your adrenal glands receiving the mineral support they need to produce a calm, regulated hormonal response to the day ahead? These are not abstract questions. They have concrete, measurable effects on your ability to lose belly fat, boost metabolism, and maintain the kind of physical and mental energy that makes healthy choices feel natural rather than forced. The beauty of addressing these questions through something as simple as the pink salt drink is that it creates immediate, tangible feedback. Most people who commit to this habit consistently for 1 to 2 weeks report noticeable shifts: reduced morning bloating, more stable energy without the mid-morning crash, fewer intense cravings for sugar and refined carbohydrates, improved bowel regularity, and a general sense of feeling lighter and more clear-headed. These are not placebo effects. They are the predictable results of restoring mineral balance and cellular hydration in a body that was running on a deficit. And while these changes may feel subtle at first, they are the exact kind of foundational improvements that make every other aspect of your weight loss and fitness journey more effective and more sustainable over time. It is also worth addressing the psychological dimension of this habit one final time, because it is more significant than it might initially appear. When you choose, every single morning, to do something intentional and nourishing for your body before the day pulls you in a dozen different directions, you are sending yourself a message. That message is, My health is a priority. I am someone who takes care of myself. I am building the identity of a person who makes conscious, supportive choices. That identity reinforced daily through small, consistent actions is what ultimately drives long-term transformation. Not the dramatic 2-week diet. Not the extreme fitness challenge, not the expensive detox program. The quiet, daily decision to show up for yourself in a way that is simple, affordable, and genuinely effective. If you are ready to lose weight healthily, to slimming down without restriction and punishment, to finally address the hidden physiological barriers that have been working against you, start here. 1 glass, 1/4 teaspoon, one morning. Give your body the minerals it has been asking for, the hydration it desperately needs, and the calm, intentional start that sets the stage for real, lasting change. Stack it with a protein-rich breakfast, gentle morning movement, reduced processed carbohydrates, and adequate sleep, and you are no longer just trying to lose weight. You are building a biological environment in which weight loss becomes the natural outcome of how you live. That is not a hack. That is not a trick. That is what it looks like to finally work with your body instead of against it. And it starts with something as beautifully simple as a pinch of pink salt in a glass of warm water. Every morning, without exception, there's a natural solution to speed up your metabolism, control cravings, and support your weight loss journey naturally and effectively. Click the link in the first pinned comment to start transforming your body. If you want to truly transform your body and learn how to lose belly fat healthily, don't stop here. In the next video, I'll share practical strategies and little-known secrets to boost your metabolism and keep the weight off for good. Click now and discover how to take your weight loss to the next level.